Worship with me this morning. Who breaks the power of sin and darkness, whose love is mighty and so much stronger, the King of glory, the King above all kings. Who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder and leaves us breathless in awe and wonder, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings our chaos back into order, who makes an orphan a son and daughter, the King of glory, the King of glory, who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of its brilliance, the King of glory, the King above all kings. Sing it out with me. Here we go. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, 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 yeah, this is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. All that you've done for me. All that you've done for me. All right, you can go ahead and have a seat for just a minute. My name is Becky. I'm one of the worship leaders here, and today, as you can see, I am the worship leader here. We've got Vacation Bible School coming up this week. We start tomorrow morning from 9 to 12 each day. If you want to come and help, I'm sure we've still got places you can pitch in. Brandon and Alicia would be happy to hear from you if you want to do that. If you have children that would love to come to Vacation Bible School, if you know children who would love to come to Bible school, we are here from 9 to 12. I'm sure you've seen a lot of Bible schools in the area do evening Bible schools. We're in the morning, a little bit different. Shock! C3 is different. All right, if this is your first time here, we want to welcome you here by giving you a little gift. So if you can just text NEW to the number up here, 740-631-2013. If you're watching online, it's down here. Text the number, and we would like to send you a gift card just for checking us out. We're not going to be weird. We're not going to do anything creepy or, stalky or anything like that. We're just going to send you a little gift card just to checking us out. We just want to let you know that we are so happy that you are with us today. If you'd like to stand up and sing with me, we're going to do a couple more songs. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Just one word, you calm the storm that surrounds me. Just one word, the darkness has to retreat. Just one touch, I feel the presence of heaven. Just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Just one word, you heal what's broken inside me. Just one word, and you revive every dream. Just one touch, I feel the power of heaven. Just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall he can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like his power. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall he can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. God, we thank you that there is nothing that you cannot do. We thank you for that reassurance that we have each and every day, that we can just put our faith in you. God, I ask that you watch over Aaron as he brings the message today. And I ask that you watch over our Vacation Bible School this week, that you can help us to make an impact on the kids that come, and that we watch over each one of them and let them know that they truly are loved. In your son's name. I am weary from the waves crashing over every day. God of mercy, please come rescue me. I am longing for your voice, gentle whisper in the noise. Father, tell me everything's all right. Your power and your presence break strongholds. King of heaven, when you speak, mountains move. I believe there will be breakthrough. You alone can take my scars, piece by piece restore my heart. Take what's broken, make it whole again. Oh, your power and your presence break strongholds. King of heaven, when you speak, mountains move. I believe there will be breakthrough. There will be breakthrough. Shake the mountains, break the walls apart, open the heavens, Almighty God, you are overcomer, defender of my heart. And by your power, the oceans open wide. Your fire falls down, heaven and earth collide. King Jesus, forever by my side. Oh, your power and your presence break strongholds. King of heaven, when you speak, mountains move. I believe there will be breakthrough. Your power and your presence break strongholds. King of heaven, when you speak, mountains move. I believe there will be breakthrough. There will be breakthrough.
Maybe it's the power trying to come back on.
What is that?
Well, good morning. We're so glad you guys are here. And just to give you a little little behind the scenes, it'll be on the extras when you buy the Blu-ray of all of our movies. So when we were trying to come up with this idea, the first idea we had was a little more intricate. So Alicia, our Cross Kids director, she had, well, first, since I mentioned Alicia, aren't these awesome? These decorations, they're amazing. Absolutely awesome. We've had so many people who have come in this whole week and beyond and done some amazing stuff getting ready for this. So I know Becky mentioned it, but I want to say again, please bring your kids to VBS because it is going to be amazing because this has been, I know all of the effort that has gone into making this week happen. So I do know this is going to be a special week for our kids. So we would love for you guys to have them be a part of this. But Alicia, she is, we always laugh. She's always doing something. We're just like, that's Alicia. Well, if any of you have Alicia on your Facebook, you know she's been nursing a goat for a few months. Not literally nursing a goat, just taking care of a goat. But she has been taking care of this goat that the mom rejected or whatever. So we've literally had a goat just chilling around our church. And we're like, what is happening here? What is going on, right? So anyways, our original idea, if you've seen the original Jurassic Park movie, like they feed goats to the T-Rex, right? So we were going to have a scene where like when the camera goes on Trent, he's like about to eat the goat, then sees the cameras looking and then just starts petting it and then he runs away. But that was a little more intricate. So we decided just to do him relieving himself instead. So anyway, so just a little behind the scenes for you. We've enjoyed this. I don't know if you guys have, but we've enjoyed this series and we've had a lot of fun doing this. But we're talking about At the Movies. We're taking truths from the cinema, from the movies, and we're sharing that. I think it's important that we understand that all good things come from above, that when God shows us a truth, we can learn something from that and we can grow from that. And so that's what we've been able to do over the past few weeks as we've gone through the movies, The Incredibles, we went through. Last week, we talked about The Hobbit. This week, I want to share with you one of my favorite films, and I think it's very, very important for us to understand what it means to truly be together, to be unified. And we're going to talk about that idea. But before I get into that, I want to ask you guys a question. Are you a unifier or are you a divider? Are you a unifier? Are you a divider? Now, I don't think many people in this room would just say, yep, I'm a divider. I want to make everything a problem, right? No one just says that, right? But as we start to examine our own lives and we actually start to look at who we are and what we do, we tend to find that there are some things in our lives that possibly keep us from bringing situations and people and groups and loved ones and enemies and all that stuff. We don't bring them together. We don't unify them. And I want to talk about this idea of unity. I think it's very, very important. We're talking about the movie Remember the Titans. And if you know anything, it's one of my favorite movies. I don't know about you guys, but when I see something pop up on a movie that says based on a true story, I get psyched. I love when it's based off of a true story. I really, really do. I enjoy a lot of movies, but when it's based off a true story, we were watching a movie about a month ago, me and the boys, and we were watching it, and I didn't realize, maybe I didn't catch the opening credits before. I've seen the movie, but for the first time, I noticed it said based off a true story, and I was even more pulled in, and I loved the movie even more because there's something about when there's a movie watching, I know Hollywood, they put a little extra sprinkles on there, right, with the movies, right? They put their little spin on it. But still, it's based off of a true story. I love watching something and realizing, like, that could really happen. Like, that could be me. That could be my kids. That could be my family. That could be someone I know. I don't know why. It just pulls me in even more. Remember the Titans is just that. It's based off of a true story. A team in Virginia back in 1971. This is when integration was starting to happen in schools, and they were forcing schools. They say, listen, you can no longer segregate. You can no longer do that. There is no black school. There is no white school. There are schools. So they bring them together, and it starts causing a lot of issues, especially with the football team. What they end up doing is they give the job to this other guy, Herman Boone, and they take it away from David Yost. Who is he was the head coach at this school, and he was a legendary coach. And so it caused all this tension, not just between the students, but between the parents, between the coaches, between the community. The community was just so torn apart and so messed up in this moment as they were trying to bring these people together. And what we find out from the movie, if any of you have seen it, is that they're brought together by this team who ends up doing everything that they can to win a championship. And it brings the town together. It does something very, very special. But I want to talk about that idea of being together. And I think this movie can teach us a few things. But why is it so important to be together? Why is that so important that we can't just do our own thing and live the way that we want all the time? Well, I want to show you this quote. Since we're talking about football, I'm going to share one from Vince Lombardi. Here's what Vince Lombardi had to say. He said, individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, a civilization work. Great football coach Vince Lombardi even knew that in order to make things work, there had to be an effort to the group, to the community, to what is happening. We had to be able to have a common goal. This is the only way that we can do it. It's no different. It's actually more important when you're talking about being a follower of Christ, when you're talking about being someone who loves God and wants to live life God's way. Look what it says here in Psalm 133, verse 1. It says, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Even God's people recognize that when we are together, it is an amazing thing. It is a powerful thing. Anything that we do together is so much better than when we do it alone. So what I want to do is share with you guys what it means to live in unity. How can we do that every single day? What does it look like for us at C3? What does it look like for you at your workplace? What does it look like for you at your school, on your team? What does it look like for us in our families to live in unity? I want to share a couple main points that I think we can get from it. But before we do that, I want to share with you a scene really quick here in the beginning. So the teams are about to come together, and they're going to go off to camp. They're going to go off and have 2 days, 3 days, all that crazy stuff they do at football camps, right? And the teams are getting together, and as they show up, of course, everything's separate, right? You got all the white kids on this bus. You got all the black kids on this bus. And here come the coaches. And one of the players approaches Coach Boone, and he's got something he wants to tell him, and he handles it in an interesting way. So let's watch this together.
Go. Here we go. How can I help you boys?
I'm Gary Bertier, the only All-American you got on this team. You want any of us to play for you, you reserve half the open positions for Hammond players. Half the offense, half the special teams. We don't need any of your people on defense. We're already set.
Don't need none of my people.
Mm-hmm.
What you say your name was Jerry?
Gary.
No, you must have said Jerry like Lewis, which would make you Dean Martin, right? Ladies and gentlemen, got an announcement to make. We got Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin going to camp with us here this year. Jerry tells the jokes, Dean sings the songs, and gets the girl. Let's give him a round of applause. Which folks, Gary? Parents, are they here? Where are they?
That's my mother.
That's your mama?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, I want you. Take a good look at her. Because once you get on that bus, you ain't got no mama no more. You got your brothers on the team, and you got your daddy. Now, you know who your daddy is, don't you? Gary, if you want to play on this football team, you answer me when I ask you, who is your daddy? Who's your daddy, Gary? Who's your daddy?
You.
Uh-huh. And whose team is this? Is this your team, or is this your daddy's team?
Yours.
Mm-hmm. Get on the bus. Put your jacket on first. And get on the bus. Dean? Fix that tie, son.
So here's a real humbling experience for the two players as they come and approach the coach, and they're going to tell him how things are going to go down, how he's going to pick his teams, and how it's all going to happen. And Coach Boone was having absolutely none of that. So he told them very kindly. He told them very calmly. He told them in a very interesting way, listen, this ain't your team. This is my team. And he said, you got your brothers on the team, and you got your daddy. Now you know who your daddy is. It's a great scene. It is a hilarious scene because he has to say this in order to get on this bus. And this is a lot of times what we end up doing when it comes to God. Many times what we decide we're going to do in the relationship when we approach God is we're going to come to God with all of the things that we already have planned and the way that we are going to run things. And we tell God, now God, you need to fit into that somehow, right? So we say, listen, God, I got a lot of things going on this week. I'll go to church on Sunday morning, but then, we're going to go out to eat, and then we got to head out there. We got baseball games, and then, we're going to have some during the week too, and my job, it's real stressful right now. A lot of things happening there, but I'm going to get it done, stuff. And if I got time, God, I'll be really tired, but if I got time, maybe I'll open up my Bible app a couple times. Maybe I will pray if I'm not too tired because I got to get to bed. I also got to get on my phone for a couple hours. You know what I mean? I got to catch up. I haven't been able to get on, Instagram for a little bit or whatever. So we come up with all these things, right? And then in the midst of this, God's going, hold up. Excuse me? What's happening here? So this is how you think things are going to go? And God doesn't work like that. So how in the world can we truly live in unity? How can we at C3 start to truly move as one, as the way Christ wants us to do it? The first thing that I think we have to be able to do is we have to be able to recognize God with all of the credit that he is due. We have to recognize God with all the credit. So Jesus, as he is getting towards the end of his earthly ministry, and as it's starting to wrap up, okay, he is about to be arrested. He's about to go to the cross. He's about to die. He's about to go through all this. Everything's about to go down. The disciples are going to scatter. Things are going to be bad. And Jesus, in this moment, before it all goes down, he decides he's going to talk to his disciples. He's going to pray to God. He's going to encourage them. He's going to warn them. He's going to get them ready for what is about to occur. And then we have this prayer that Jesus gives. And I want to share that with you and why I think it is so important for us to know what it means to live in unity. This is the Gospel of John, chapter 17. Here's what it says starting in verse 1. It says, after Jesus said this, and we'll talk in a second about what it is he said. After Jesus said this, he looked toward heaven and prayed, Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. For you granted him authority over all people, that he might give eternal life to all those you have given him. Now this is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. I have brought you glory on earth by finishing the work you gave me to do. And now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began. In order for us to be unified together, we have to be able to give God the credit that is due to him. We need to be able to recognize who God is, what he is capable of, and what he has given us. This is what Jesus is starting this prayer off with. When he is praying in this very moment, he is saying, God, what I want to happen in all of this is I want you to glorify me as I go through this and as I die on that cross and as I'm given up for the sins of the whole world. As that is happening, glorify your Son so that you may be glorified. The whole reason Jesus did what he did, the whole reason that he went to the cross, the whole reason that we have salvation and we have redemption and we have love and we have acceptance, the reason we are given all of that is for the glory of our Creator. That's the whole point of all of this. And so when Jesus is living this life of perfection, and when Jesus came into this world and he lived 33 some years, when he gave his ministry up for a little bit over 3 years, when he went through all this, the reason that he did it was so that God would be glorified. That was the whole point. So guys, I want you to know everything that happens to us in our life, we are to bring God glory in that. We are to give God credit for that. How often do we really live like that, though? How often do we really operate like that at our job? How often do we operate like that around our friends? How often do we operate like that in church? How often do we really do that? We sing songs and we close our eyes and we pray and we do all these things, but how often do we really hear? Do we say, none of this is possible without God? I want you guys to know, take time, if you ever want to know the story of C3, sit down with Trent, sit down with John, to listen to some of the stories, and you would know only God could make this happen. I'm telling you. Why? Because we're all just a bunch of weirdos trying to make this work. All of us. None of us have it together. Guys, look at the disciples, the persons, the people that God is praying for in this prayer right now. These guys were weirdos. These guys were uneducated. These guys smelled like fish. These guys didn't have it together. They asked some of the dumbest questions throughout Jesus' ministry. They didn't know what they were doing. But why did it work? Because they were together and they were working for the glory of God. That's why it worked. That's why anything works, is when we recognize that the credit that is due is to God and God alone. Jesus said it himself. He said, now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began. He understood that it all goes to him. It all belongs to him. Coach Boone talked about this. He said, listen, if you guys want to be able to move in this, you have to first understand this. I'm in control. I'm the one who's calling the shots. Not that assistant coach, not that assistant coach, not these players, me. Not the parents, me. That's what we have to establish. Number one. So now, as they get to camp, and as they're starting to get their stuff in their rooms, and they're about ready to head off for their first practice, big fight breaks out because it's all still just a hot mess right now. So they call them all into the mess hall, and Coach now has to get them ready for their practices. So here's what ends up happening as they break up this fight and they get ready for their first 2 a day.
Bunch of tough guys. You look like a bunch of 5th grade sissies after a cat fight. You got anger, that's good. You're going to need it, son. You got aggression, that's even better. You're going to need that too. But any little 2-year-old child can throw a fit. Football is about
about controlling that anger, harnessing that aggression into a team effort to achieve perfection. Some coaches, they cut a player if they think he's not up to snuff, when they think he's hurting the team. This is a public school program. I will never, ever cut a player who comes out to play for me. But when you put that uniform on, that Titan uniform, you better come to work. We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection. Let's go to work. Come on, move up, please. Get up, boy, get up. All right, get out.
Keep that head up, keep those hands up, keep those feet moving.
Everything we're gonna do is change. We are changed. We're gonna change the way we run. We're gonna change the way we eat. We're gonna change the way we block. We're gonna change the way we tackle. We're gonna change the way we win.
So now as practices are starting, what has he established with them? Everything we do is going to change. Everything that we do is going to change. The way that we eat, the way that we run, the way that we tackle, the way that we block, everything is going to change. And that is what's going on in this moment. That's why there's so much tension. Nobody wanted anything to change, right? They wanted to say, we'll have our white school, you have your black school, and everything will be fine.